I want to talk about today is Lil Wayne and Brett Favre, endorsed and met with the president. I'm going to read real quick. This is what Brett Favre said, the quarterback for the Packers, one of the most famous quarterbacks of all time. He said, "My vote is for what makes this country great: freedom of speech and religion, Second Amendment, hard-working, tax-paying citizens, police, and military. In this election, we have freedom of choice, which all should respect. For me and these principles, my vote is for real Donald Trump." So it's very hard to be in the sports community and actually support the president. I'm going to show you why in a second. But in the sports world, it's very unpopular, just like it is in entertainment. Although among the people behind closed doors, I'm sure it's way more popular than you think. But as far as, in the media, it's just really difficult for these players to actually support the president, even if they do. So shout out to Brett Favre for having some cojones like he always has and sticking true to his principles. Another person who did that is Lil Wayne. He met with the president. I'm going to read his real quick. And then I want to show you this really cool video of Lil Wayne on one of the sports shows, totally just destroying their narrative that they were trying to race bait him into. So this is what Lil Wayne said. He said, "Just had a great meeting with real Donald Trump, POTUS. Besides what he's done so far with criminal reform, the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. He listened to what we had to say today and assured he will and can get it done." And he brought up prison reform. I've brought it up a few times. Trump gets no credit for this. A lot of black activists, a lot of rappers, a lot of athletes, for decades, they've been saying how the prison industry needs to be reformed because thousands of people were locked up for nonviolent drug offenses. And at a certain point in time, I think they were a little more arrest happy. And I think, Joe Biden is actually partly responsible for that. But, Trump actually looked at these people, gave a fair shake to certain people who were in prison for longer than they needed to be. Because regardless of what people want to believe, I understand in my opinion, they don't arrest enough people. Nowadays, it's like you can rob a store and hold someone up at gunpoint, and it's like they're looking for a reason to not let you in. But at the same time, as there's thousands of criminals that need to go to prison, which I think is very true nowadays, especially in liberal cities, you do have thousands of people who are innocent or thousands of people who got overcharged, maybe made a mistake, and have repented and, don't need to sit behind bars for 30 years for something that's like a non-offensive, or not that bad, rather. So Trump looked at it, did prison reform, and Lil Wayne gave him credit. So here's a video I want to show you guys. I'm going to turn the camera now. This is Lil Wayne with Shannon Sharpe and, what's this guy's name? Skip Bayless. This is years ago when Colin Kaepernick and Black Lives Matter tried to come out. I knew Lil Wayne might have been closet MAGA because he never took the bait on Black Lives Matter. He's the only rapper I really saw consistently say, "I don't believe in what you guys are preaching, and I don't see this whole racist America that you guys do." So Lil Wayne's been cool for years. Here's him talk to Skip Bayless. This is one of my favorite interviews with Lil Wayne. Check it out, guys. Let's see.
What you see from day to day in your life.
Skip, they wouldn't want to ask me that. They wouldn't want my answer to represent it because God knows I have been nothing but blessed. My whole path, these 33 years have been nothing but a blessing. I have never, never is a strong word, I've never dealt with racism, and I'm glad I didn't have to. And I don't know if it's because of my blessings, I don't know if it's, but it is my reality. So I would have to say, not only did I thought it was over, I still believe it's over, but obviously it is.
So you've never experienced any offensive behavior from any other color or?
No, sir.
Wow.
But
you are blessed.
But you see what's going on, even in your city, New Orleans, with Alton Sterling.
Yeah.
During Katrina, the officers that killed those ended up in jail. So I know you say you're not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
But you see some of the things that's
what's going on.
Right.
As far as an opinion on what's going on, I mean, of course, we all want somebody to figure out what's going on first and then put a stop to it, or try to put a stop to it, or everybody come together and figure something out, and maybe just coming together is the solution. But we'd have to do that first. And obviously we have a bunch of differences, people feeling this way, people feeling that way. When you come to a person like me, my answer is always the same, man. My politics, my flag, my country, my nation, my world, all that is Reginae, Cameron, Neil, and his brother, Tony. That's it. That's my nation, that's my flag, that's my world, that's my That's my protest. That's my don't protest. That's my everything. That's all that matters, those 4 kids to me.
So go one level deeper with me. I remember one time I saw you after you had done a concert, I think it was in Westchester, different kind of neighborhood, but I asked you what the racial breakdown was of your audience. Do you remember this? And you told me the only black face you could see in the whole audience was your makeup artist. I believe that's what you said. She was in the front row, right? A lot of white kids love rap.
Yes.
Explain that. What does that say to you? What's the message of it? What's the bigger picture of it?
I don't want to be bashed because I don't want to sound like I'm on the wrong if there is a side, but I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism. That's what I thought that was.
Okay.
I thought that was a perfect example. When I look out and I come up off the stage, when I'm coming out the bottom of the stage in my show, when I'm on tour, and I'm in my stance or whatever, and I open my eyes and I see everybody. I don't have this type of crowd or that type of. My crowd has always been everybody, thank God. And that's all I can answer for. So.
Do you think the younger generation, the millennials, do you think they're moving a little further away from the racism as opposed to where it used to be?
It's not cool to them.
Right.
It's not cool to them. It don't matter to them. You know, it's so not cool that it doesn't even matter to them. You know, they're like, what? What?
So I'm gonna show a few more, but that was one of the first ones that he did. He went on one of the sports shows, I think on ESPN, maybe it was on Fox Sports, but you know, they were talking about Black Lives Matter and Colin Kaepernick, and Lil Wayne said, I don't know what racism is. And I know that's a crazy stance for a lot of people because they're like, you know, Lil Wayne's so rich, he's ignoring it. But you have to understand, he grew up, I mean, he was a child star, but he was kind of, you know, gangster even when he was younger. Mindset is important, and this is what Kanye West understands, Lil Wayne understands, Waka Flocka Flame understands. You manifest a lot of stuff in your life. So Lil Wayne treats everybody with respect. He doesn't see black and white. I'm sure he sees it, but he doesn't define his whole life like that. And he says, listen, I can't lie to you for this interview. I can't say my whole life's been totally racist. He's like, I don't see the racism. He's like, I see all my fans. A lot of them are white. To me, that means that they don't care what skin color I am. And these type of people that make everything about race, they can't fathom what Lil Wayne's talking about. But it's odd, I will say, in different communities, you could see certain black people, certain Jewish people, certain Hispanic people, mostly liberals. They're always trying to stop everybody from thinking about their own ethnicity. You're a white supremacist, you're this, you're that. But those type of people always usually care about their own people. You know, it's always the black liberal that their whole life is, I went to an HBCU, all I care about is black this, black that, black-owned business, only buying from black owners. And then their life purpose is to try to stop other people from doing what they're doing. It's almost like their worst nightmare would be a white person who acts like they act. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of hypocrisy in these movements where they make their whole life about race, all they see is race, but that's because they manifest it. Where Lil Wayne says, I don't see racism, so I'm not going to play these games. I'm not going to act like America's a racist country. He's like, I'm black, my face is tatted up, you know, I speak how I speak, I talk about how I talk about, and I'm a multimillionaire. He's like, no one's ever been mean to me my whole life. And I want to show this clip. This is perhaps, you know, maybe his most famous clip talking about this type of stuff. And I helped let it go viral. I think it's got like 10,000 retweets on my page. I reposted it yesterday. This is of Lil Wayne explaining why he really doesn't hate the cops and why he doesn't hate white people. He was actually saved by a white cop. This is, sorry guys, this is going to have bad language on it. If there's kids watching or whatever, he's going to curse. But truly one of the most beautiful stories, and as beautiful as you can get in a minute. Here's Lil Wayne explaining how a white cop saved his life.
At the age of 12 years old, I shot myself. I was in the house. Police knocked on the door. I was right there. They knocked the door down. Everybody jumped over my body to go get the guns and drugs and whatever they could find. It took one guy to stop right there and cuss everybody that hopped over me out. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? They said, oh, no, we was going to see if it, what the fuck are y'all doing? We called the ambulance. A fucking ambulance? Do you not see this kid on the floor with this hole in his chest? I said, you drive, pick me up. brought me to the hospital. He didn't drop me off at the ambulance and say, you take him. He brought me to the hospital room and made two and stood there and waited till the doctor said he's gonna make it. He said, don't worry, my name's Uncle Bob. He was white as snow. Them motherfuckers that hopped over me was blacker than me.
Was he a cop?
Yeah, he was a cop, and my life was saved by a white man. I don't know what racism is. I know a good motherfucker named Uncle Bob, though.
Yeah, sorry guys, I know it's a little quiet, but I'm sure if you turn up your volume, you could hear. So, yeah, I guess he got shot when he was younger, and he said all the black police officers jumped over his body. It was a white police officer that stopped, saved his life, and he remembers that. So this is what I love about Lil Wayne. In his profession, in his ethnic group, it's unpopular to feel the way he feels, but he knows he was saved by a white cop. So he's like, I'm not going to spend my whole life hating white people and hating cops, when if it wasn't for a white cop, I wouldn't even be here alive to begin with. So he's never bought into the racism. He never bought into Black Lives Matter, and the media has always hated him for that. And actually, the media tried to turn him, a lot of people don't know this, but I do. The media actually tried to get conservatives to turn against Trump, Lil Wayne, years ago. Not that conservatives were ever huge Lil Wayne fans, I don't think, but they said he stepped on a flag. I don't know if you guys remember this. A lot of conservatives hate Lil Wayne because they think he stomped on an American flag at a video shoot. But what really happened was he had an American flag behind him as his backdrop, and he was rapping, and the American flag fell to the ground, and he didn't really even see it, and he just continued the scene. He didn't purposely stomp on the American flag. It fell down, like whatever was holding it fell down, and if you're filming a take, you don't really stop. You get what I'm saying? You just finish the take. So I don't think he really even realized that the flag fell. He's not somebody who was out stomping on American flags. He's always respected the country. And, you know, I'm sure he's had his little protests here or there, but I've never seen him say anything crazy disrespectful. So the media tried to present him as like super anti-America a few years ago. But here's him. I want to show you this real quick, and then I'm going to move on to the next segment. This is him on ABC Nightline. They brought him on, and they tried to rekindle the Black Lives Matter thing with Lil Wayne, and he gets up and leaves the interview because he's so ticked off. So no matter how many times they try to get him to say that Black Lives Matter is a great organization and that police brutality is a problem, he would never do it. And I've always loved Lil Wayne for doing this. Here's him on whatever it's called, NBC Nightline. Let's see.
Recently stirring controversy on Fox Sports when he said he personally doesn't see racism because so many of his fans are white.
I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism.
There was a lot of backlash from people about that. Would you change it, what you said, or you still be the same one? What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea is that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives Matter.
It just sounds weird. I don't know that you put a name on. It's not a name. It's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police for a reason. I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb. My life matters, especially to my.
Do you separate yourself from it?
I don't feel connected to a damn thing. I ain't got nothing to do with me. If you do, you crazy. You connected to this flag, right? Because I'm connected. I'm a gangbanger, man. I'm connected.
He ended our interview angrily.
Politician.
Lil Wayne is in the business of making music, not apologies. For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in New York.
Really?
So they brought him on. Hold on. It's like some ad came on after. They brought him on ABC Nightline and tried to get him to apologize. Are you sorry for what you said with Black Lives Matter? He said, I don't apologize for a damn thing. And then, he whips out his red flag. He's a gang member, and he's like, leave me alone. I'm not a politician. I thought it was hilarious. But that's the thing with the liberals, too, is, I'm not out here supporting gang activity. I don't. But even if you are a gang member, I'm not even talking about a wealthy one, even if you're like a broke gang member or a hustling gang member trying to make it, the stuff that liberals tell you is like the stupidest thing on the planet. Like, even if, I'm not saying I justify it because I don't, but if you're in a gang, would you walk towards a police officer with a knife whether you're in a gang, not in a gang, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, guy, girl, nobody should walk at a police officer with a knife in their hand. But if you watch liberal media, it's like they want you to die or go to jail. They're like, you know, it's okay to do this. It's the police fault. Like, no, it's kind of your fault. You shouldn't do that. So common sense people like Lil Wayne is like, listen, I don't see racism. I thought, you know, if you can't tell that racism isn't that big of a deal, the fact that I'm a black guy in America making all this money, that's the answer that, you know, a lot of people are looking for a lot of celebrities to get. Because you look at someone like Trevor Noah, first of all, similar skin pigment to me, but I understand he's half black or whatever from South Africa. He's not funny, but that's not his fault. But anyway, point I'm trying to get to is he comes to America, makes millions of dollars in this country, people love him, and then they turn around and act like this country's so racist. It's like, you came here and made millions of dollars. What more could you possibly ask for in a country? Like, you're treated like a celebrity. You're treated like a king. He gets treated better than I get treated. You could have, you know, they roll out the red carpet. Everywhere you go, you can afford anything. You could go on vacation for the next 10 years and be able to afford it. So where is like the gratefulness? That's all, you know, like I'm watching the NBA. I love the NBA. My whole life I've idolized NBA players. I've idolized Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing. Never once in my life did I ever think, well, he's a black man. You know, that's not, it never crossed my mind. My parents never talked about it. There was, in my community, no racist backlash towards athletes. I would say white people are among the biggest supporters and financiers of sports. I mean, who buys LeBron James jerseys more than white people? White people love the Boston Celtics, you know? It's so, they act like everybody hates them. They're like wearing things on their jerseys and stuff, and you're like, is there even an ounce of gratefulness? You can protest, you can feel this way. Do you have any gratefulness? So I love Lil Wayne. He's like 100% grateful, 0% victim, 0% race baiting, 0% Black Lives Matter. So it's only a matter of time till he met with President Trump, because real recognize real. People like Floyd Mayweather, you know, Lil Wayne, even Lil Pump now, surprisingly. Like, people are tired of the BS, and there's nothing more rock star at this point than to meet with Trump. Meeting with Biden's the corniest, lamest thing you could do. Not only is his record terrible in the black community with prison reform, all these things they claim to care about, he's got the worst record. He's such a liar. It's like Trump is the real deal. The media hates him. The political establishment hate him. The intelligence communities, you know, who, you know, think they're the unelected president of the United States hate him. All these big power structures across the world hate him. He's the real, it's the biggest rock star move. So thank you, Lil Wayne, for standing up for our country and meeting with the president, just talking to him instead of being like a rabid hater like these other morons. Second story I want to talk about today is...
Why they pin you as a victim? Yeah, so you always stay dependent. Yeah, then they tell you they gon' raise the taxes, help you out with everything you give them. Yeah, the homeless getting bigger. Yeah, sell some weapons out in Yemen. Yeah, I ain't getting into all the specifics, but you best believe I ain't tripping.